Guys, welcome back to another vlog. My name is Elsie, and today we're going to be talking about something very important. I feel like this is not spoken about a lot of the time because people feel differently or have different feelings when it comes to this particular topic. So today we're going to talk about it and see how it's going to help anybody out there if they're going to start their journey. Right, so let's get right into the video. Our topic for today is going to be the honest conversations about graduate school. I feel like people are not honest enough when it comes to struggles, experiences, successes, and all that when it comes to the whole topic of grad school. So we're going to talk about my experiences so far with graduate school, what I've experienced starting my PhD. I'll chip in a few things with my master's and some of the things I went through with my master's, and then carry on with my PhD. As you all know, I started my PhD in spring, and I've gone through a full year. I'll be in second year by spring again, and I'm so happy. It came with so much sacrifices, less sleep, like a lot of real hustle, but it also came with a lot of successes. Like, I'm not going to attribute everything I've gone through to be bad, but then obviously there are certain things that people need to know before they take the steps to wanting to go to grad school, and some of the very honest conversations they need to ask themselves or have with themselves and the people around them to know that they actually have that support to be able to do this or go through this, right? So what I'm going to say, the very, very first thing I'm going to talk about would be, and I know people will say that Elsie likes money. I mean, it's very important because you would need to save a lot of money. You will need to have a lot of money saved up for grad school. Like, whether you're going to do your master's or your PhD, it's just imperative. Like, it's something that you need to have down. You need to have some level of savings before you go in. Even if you have funding, if you have scholarship, if you have some assistantship from the university, it's very important that you also have some level of savings with you, or some savings, some money saved up to be able to go through your education, especially here in the United States. I always say this, and if you go back to my previous videos, I always say that I cannot overemphasize this enough, that you need to save up, because education is expensive. Grad school is even more expensive, if there's anything like that. Like, it's expensive. So it just comes with that cost. You just need to be able to save for it. In a year, it's estimated that grad school should cost you between 30 to 40,000 a year, right? And this is not CDs. This is like $30,000 to $40,000 every year just for school. To pay your fees and books or whatever is going to cost you 30,000 to 40,000, probably above, depending on whatever school you are in. But that's how much you're going to pay for just being a graduate student in a year in the United States. It averages around that amount. And the thing is, if you're an international student or wherever you're from, you know that if you're getting stipend, and stipend is the money that you're given to just take care of yourself in school. If you're getting stipend and if the school is still paying your tuition, you need to pay something at least, which could be like your health insurance. And you guys know how insurance is expensive. And you need to also save up for some petty health bills that may come up, because you can't say because you're paying health insurance you're not going to be sick, or even if you go to the hospital, the hospital is going to cover everything. It does not work that way. So you would definitely want to have some money with you to cover stuff like that. You have car insurance, you have housing, you need to pay rent, you need to pay for electricity, you need to pay for water, you need to pay for phone bill, you need to pay for literally you pay for everything. You need to think of the food that you eat. You can't say that you will not eat. You have to think about all these things, and it's expensive. So you would want to also come up with ways to be able to survive in terms of finances. That's why you need to save before you decide to go to grad school, because it doesn't get easier just because you have scholarship, and it's even worse if you have nothing at all. So you'd want to prepare yourself for that. And I'm going to leave my next video. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to get funding, external funding or external sources of funds to be able to support you through graduate school. So it could be like fellowships, scholarships, grants that supports graduate students or undergraduate students in the United States and in Canada to be able to fund themselves through school. So watch out for that video. If you know that you're a student, somebody who has gotten admission to a university, and you feel like, oh, you'll not be able to attend because you don't have the money, this is the right spot for you. My next video is going to talk about that, so look out for that. And then you can follow the link and go to the right sources, the right scholarship that suits whatever program you're going to read, and that should be able to help you in your steps to wanting to study in the United States and getting scholarships. You also have to have some amount of money for entertainment. I mean, you cannot be in the US and say that your whole life is just going to be, school. There should be some amount of money reserved for entertainment. It's very important. Like, you're just going to be stressed. Imagine COVID hit and you haven't been out, nothing. So that form of entertainment for yourself could be just paying for Netflix, going out to a bar, hanging out with your friends at the club, just taking a drive to another city, or just you alone, whatever it is. Just reserve some money for entertainment because you need it. Graduate school comes with a lot of stress and you would need it. It's very important. Reserve some money or save some money for entertainment. The next thing I'm going to talk about will be adjusting to graduate school. Like, you need to know that immediately you finish undergrad and you hop onto the train of graduate school, you need to be able to adjust, because you have moved from undergrad, where it's kind of like you're spoon-fed, to a space where you have to do everything on your own. So it's kind of like quick. You have to learn softwares. You need to know how to run data, depending on whatever field that you find yourself in. So during my undergrad studies, I did not use any softwares. Rather, when I finished my undergrad and I was working, I had the opportunity to know, like, that's when I came into real contact with codes. And I didn't have that passion to learn to code or do anything of that sort in my undergrad. Really, after that, even when I came in contact with people that coded, did data analysis using codes and all that, I was still not interested. My mind was all about the business aspect of the coding and all that. So I didn't really focus on it. Little did I know that this was going to follow me all the way up onto my graduate studies or my graduate education. When I started my master's, I tried as much as possible to run away from using softwares that required me to code. I remember sometimes my professor would say we need to use R to do a couple of stuff, and I ran away from that. I started learning it and then I quit because I was like, nah, this is not what I'm going to do. So I was able to run away from using R and Python and stuff during my master's, and then I just worked with SPSS, and then a few little understanding of Excel, and I'll come to why I say little understanding of Excel. But when I started my PhD, it's something that I cannot run away from, because now I have to do data analysis in R, you have to do data analysis in SAS, you have to do data analysis in Tableau, you need to do data analysis in Excel. And you know how you put on your CV that you are good in Excel? Trust me, it will get to the point, depending on the field that you find yourself in, where you have to show that you actually know how to use these things. And you, like, when you get stuck, when you have to manipulate or find a way to showcase your knowledge of Excel and you're stuck, that's the point where you know that you know nothing. And so you need to up your game when it comes to adjusting to these things, because there are people that know it and you need to catch up with these people you're on the same level with. So I'm going to just say that you need to really learn how to adjust. If you know that is the program that you want to read, the best thing to do is to start learning some of the things that they do in graduate school in that program. Learn some of the softwares that your professor you're going to work with uses, so you are abreast with it. And at least not like you are the best or excellent at it, but you're on that stage where you understand when they say certain terms regarding that particular software or that particular book or that particular topic. You have an idea about it. It's very important. Like, graduate school can stress you. You not want your academics to also stress you. Like, you don't want that aspect of trying to know something stress you. That shouldn't be an extra stress, but it will come with a stress because that job needs to be done, and you are the graduate student that's working with one particular person, and no matter how nice they are with you, that is your job. You need to learn how to do it. But obviously they are nice, they are going to help you make it easy, but for your own good and for future use, you need to be able to learn certain softwares, and you need to be able to understand how those softwares work. Graduate school is stress. I feel like it's something that people don't talk about. Like, I really want to talk about it. Graduate school is a lot of stress. It's going to drain the life out of you if you don't know how to balance, if you don't like create the time for that entertainment I spoke about, if you do not create the time to hang out with friends, if you don't, you look at COVID, we are all inside, there's nothing to do. And so there's more working from home and working online as opposed to if we were going in person, right? You have additional resources that if you didn't understand something, you could quickly reach out to. So it's going to like be a lot of burden on you if you have to go through a heartbreak just before you enter graduate school, because you'll be battling with your academics, trying to stay on top. You're already floating. You'll be battling with research. You'll be battling with adjusting to certain programs and softwares and whatnot. Trying to prove that writing papers, that's not even being said. So being in graduate school is not just going to class like you being in undergrad and then you're just going to class and you don't have you just have that structure. Obviously there's structure in graduate school, but the structure is a lot. You have structure in your classes, there's a structure for your research, there's a structure for when you're using your data analysis tools, there's a structure for writing papers, and you have to know how all these things work. And the fact that you're in graduate school, you do all these work on your own. This is not the time where you're going to be spoon-fed, because nobody has the time to teach you these things, right? It's assumed that because you chose to be in graduate school, you should have had prior knowledge of whatever you're going to do in school, because it is tough. It is tough. Like, whatever. Trust me, it is tough in graduate school. It's not easy. You probably will not, if you used to hang out a lot with your friends, you probably will cut down a lot in your first year of grad school. You probably hang out more with the people that are in your field just to be able to understand. I think I did that a lot. I hanged out more with the people that are in my course rather than the people I knew before, because it just helps. You're in a program where you're trying to also adjust, and there are people that knew it before you. You probably just want to make sure they are your best buddies and everything, so that you are not lost. You'd be able to be carried along when there's an information to be passed on to you and all that. But then again, you also need to make time for yourself to have fun and do other things. It's very important. Other conversation I feel that people need to have is, and I think I mentioned this just now, is your colleagues. Like, you need to, there are a lot of things, like I said, you cut down. And the people that will now become your best friends will probably be the people that you're in the same program with. And it's important because it's going to help you understand what's going on. Like, you just have 1-2 ears, and you cannot put them, you can't say I'm leaving this ear here and I'm leaving that ear there. And so whatever is going on in school, I'll be able to hear them. Remember, when your body is moving, you're moving with both ears. So wherever you are at that point, that's what you can hear. If you're not somewhere, you will not be able to hear what's going on, what information is being passed on, especially amongst your colleagues concerning your academics, concerning helping each other and all that. And you need to make friends in your department. So that's all that I'm saying. I'm going to give you an example. So, when I started my program, my PhD is in industrial and systems engineering, and it's kind of like a new field. I did not have any friends initially when I got there, but some of the best friends I've made so far are in my class, and we study together. Even though it's virtual, sometimes we kind of like go on Zoom to study, because we had this major exam coming up, and because I'm doing both course and research-based PhD, it's important that I understand the coursework and all the engineering stuff. So it was just like incumbent that these people are in my corner and I'm also in their corner for us to study to pass what we call the qualifying exam. And that's going to be another video that I'll talk about, because I feel like as important as this exam is to the life of a graduate student, it is like the most stressful thing that is not talked about. If you're going to do your PhD, just know that if your PhD is course-based and research-based together, or just course-based, you write something called the qualifying exam, and that exam can stress the hell out of you. I wrote mine just like 2 days ago, and I'm telling you guys, I've not had stress like that in an exam before. We sat down for 8 hours and wrote 7 papers in a day, and you're writing some of the things that you probably have never come across, but you have to study, like you were studying for it over the summer, just to be able to understand the concept. And you just cannot fail. If you fail, you're out of the program. So like, it's just like a lot of things that needs to be spoken about for people to understand that it's not all rosy in grad school. Like, if you think that you're going to grad school just to be able to say, hey, I have a degree or a PhD, I'm a doctor now, like, I mean, the prestige that comes with being called Dr. Elsie or Dr. Dad or Dr. Engineer Elsie or Engineer Doctor, I don't know which one comes first, Engineer Dr. Elsie, it's not easy. So when you see people acting or being proud, like, I now understand how or why people are happy and ask you to actually call them by their titles, because they didn't just come up with it. Like, it took them sleepless nights, it took them a lot of hard work, it took them a lot of sacrifices, it took them a lot of stuff to get that title, it took them a lot of hard work to get it. So I mean, shout out to all the people that have gone through it. I really respect you, because I know that in the first and second year, or mostly in the first year, it's a lot of stress. But I promise myself that in my second year, I'm going to live my baby girl life. I'm going to make sure that it's going to be less stress on me, because like this exam that I took, man, it's brought me a lot of relief, and I cannot like thank God enough for taking me and my course mates who took this exam. So my friends, Joan, Paves, Tammy, Shola, everybody that took this exam. I cannot like thank God enough for all of us, because man, I know how we had sleepless nights. Literally 5 days to my exam, I'll be sleeping and I'll be thinking that I was in the exam hall and I knew nothing. My head was blank. I'll be thinking of questions. Like, literally, when Ghana, we say the questions were swerved, like you've been swerved. You can study and study and nothing pops up. Yeah, it happened. One of the courses, it happened. But just for the grace of God, we were able to, do something. Like, God really helped us. Like, I'm not going to lie. So all I am trying to say is just make sure that you have the right people in your corner. It's very important. I mean, it's one of the most important things. You can't go through graduate school all alone, except you're somebody who knew everything before going to graduate school. Then you don't need anybody, right? But no one is an island. You definitely need people to let you know, hey, remind you, it's a virtual study now. Have you done this homework? We have this group meeting online. Have you done this? Have you done that? You need somebody to actually keep you on your toes. And I thank God for those people that have been in my corner. I thank God for my friends Joan, Ernest. Like, literally, sometimes I don't sleep. I'm on Zoom with my friend in Canada for like 4 hours, just trying to understand linear programming. Like, it's advanced. I'm just trying to understand it, and you understand it the mathematical way, writing on paper. You have to understand how to do it in Excel. You have to understand how to use it in other softwares. And like, it's crazy. Whatever level you are at that you're studying, you don't just study it based on like paper based. After the paper based, you need to move on to the software based. After the software based, you need to move on to something else. Like, it's extremely practical. And I can't thank God enough for these people. They've just been amazing in my life. And I want to say thank you, shout outs to everybody that has helped me on this journey. God richly bless you. God increase your knowledge, because you will know the thing and you are ready and willing to always pour down onto other people. And I cannot bless you enough and say thank you. The next thing that you want to focus on in graduate school will be your mental health. It's something that is being spoken about nowadays. People literally kill themselves in graduate school. It's no joke, because the stress is too much. So you would not want to have family issues. You don't want to have people stressing your life. Trust me, if you're getting funding, if family is giving you peace, if school is going okay with your academics, you know how to use everything, your research is going well, live the baby girl life. I'm telling you, live the baby girl, baby boy life. Because what is life? Like, enjoy it. Like, if you don't have any stress, hooray to you, enjoy it. And it's very important. Like, mental health, you need it, because when you are trying to catch up on so many things, you can easily get caught up in your mind, and then it's easy to just go crazy. So just make sure that you're building. I think I should have said this as the first thing, and it's not the money, because if you have the money and your mental health is ruined, or is just like wretched all over the place, it's not a successful thing, and it can ruin you. So obviously make sure that your mental health is in check. The things that are unnecessary to you, try it as much as possible to gradually cut them off, because there's just so many unnecessary things. Like, literally cut them off. Learn to cut certain things off, whether people, things, unnecessary conversations. It's not important to have them. If it's not important to explain yourself, just to maintain your mental health, I'll tell you to do it. Because like, if already school is scaring you, you're trying to finish and become like a professor or a doctor or whatever, and then you're battling with annoying things in your mind. Imagine how annoying that is. And your mind cannot even tell you it's annoying, but that's what it is. You need to work on it. Your mental health is important. Make sure you're working on it. And your school should definitely have resources that will be able to help you. If you have any issues that you want to talk about, do well to reach out to them, because a lot of graduate students find themselves battling a lot with mental health. And I have to talk about this, because there are resources. If you don't know how to reach out to them, make sure that you just check your school's website to see if they have any counseling service or mental health associations that you can register with, to speak with somebody to help you, at least just, help you carve a path for your career or your student journey. Is very important. You need to work on your mental health. It's very, very important. You'll basically be battling with so much time, like battling time to be able to finish academic work, that you literally have no time for your physical and mental well-being. To strategize when it comes to sustaining your mental health, you need to strategize and be on your up game, so that you don't get caught up in so much. It just can be like, sometimes I'm there and I'm like, it's Sunday and it's almost like it's 10 p.m. and I know my deadlines are 11:59 and I have 5 things that I have not finished. Like, I've done half and half and half, and it's not like I sat there the whole week and did nothing. I was literally working on them, but then I'm not done, and I'm like, it's like a rat race. Do I finish this? Do I finish that? You need to strategize. Like, this first year taught me that I probably really need to sit down and strategize a lot of things, and work actively and smarter, so that I don't get caught up in so many things, because it's easy to get caught up in a lot of things. You're working hard, but you also get caught up. These are a few things that time would allow me to talk about. So if you are planning to go to graduate school, just know that, like I said, it's not as bad as it sounds. People have made it, people have succeeded, people have thrived to be able to do it, but a lot of things have not been spoken about. And these are a few things that I want to talk about, especially funding, mental health. These 4 basic things I spoke about: adjusting, colleagues, mental health, and then savings. Because these are the things that if you have right, your path is going to be right. Like, you're going to find it easy. It's not that I struggled in all these 4 things, but obviously I knew how to work my way to get the right people in my corner, which is the colleagues. I had worked, so immediately getting into a PhD program, even though I got funding and everything, I was okay in the first year. I survived. I did not struggle. But it's not as easy, because then you're schooling full-time and not working. So obviously you're not going to have it all rosy, but I am comfortable. I'm going to see you next time, and watch out for my funding video, how to get funding and how to get sources of scholarships and other stuff for your graduate or undergraduate study in the US and in Canada. And I think it will be a great resource too. And I will see you in another video. Bye.